They said, don't move, don't say nothing, sit right there. If you move, we're gonna shoot you.
I was just really scared because I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. I didn't see anybody around.
The heat, the feeling of just robbing somebody, it just felt good just to keep doing it and doing it.
Why me? Why should this happen to me?
No reason, you were just there.
I remember obviously being very scared.
You be in shock.
You know, I don't like that. I don't like being afraid in my own neighborhood. It makes me angry.
I felt that there was no good individuals. I felt that I wanted to hurt them.
I was in a struggle at that time, not going well at home, the streets, school, everything.
If I could have had a conversation like this with these young men closer to the time that it happened, I think it would have made a difference.
As we were developing Common Justice, we conducted a series of interviews with people who had been convicted of or harmed by crimes such as robbery and assault. We asked these people to share their stories, to talk about the impact of the event on their lives, and especially for those who were harmed, to reflect about what they needed or would have wanted to help them heal and recover.
I guess it was 2 years ago, so I was 33. I was walking home from the subway. I walked past a group of young men, like 4 or 5 young men, and I pulled out my cell phone and I was checking my voicemail messages, and all of a sudden I was surrounded, and one of the young men like punched me in the head and knocked me down, and they were kicking and punching me. So some of the memories are a little bit vague, but I know that I was sort of up and down on the ground and up. And they didn't say anything. They were just hitting me, and then finally I remembered, or finally I was able to scream, and then when I started screaming, they ran away.
I was convicted of a robbery in 1992. Me and a friend were on the subway, and we were kind of wandering around looking for somebody to rob for some quick money. And we found a guy. It got really ugly, and the guy had a gun, and he pulled out his gun, and it was taken from him, and he got beat with his own gun.
I was 16 years old. I was in the polo grounds in the Bronx, visiting a friend. So I go downstairs and sit on the bench, wait for my friend to come down. And some guys come up to me with a gun. They took my glass. At the time, we used to wear the Sergio Valenti glasses. They took the glasses. I was scared. Believe me, I was scared, because I had never had a gun put in my face, didn't know what the experience like. And it was like, I was thinking that I was going to die.
Me and my friend just walking, we see a victim. We approached him, tried to talk to him, tried to talk him out of getting it, and then he didn't want to give it up. So we got aggressive, and he just still didn't want to give it up. And then got more aggressive, so we pulled out a gun, robbed him, made the kid walk home crying. And later that same night, I got arrested.
I wound up doing 11 years out of 4 to 12 and came home with 4 years of parole.
I was convicted of aggravated assault, and it was in the 2nd degree, and I did 3.5 years.
That experience was a life-changing experience.
I had some panic symptoms for a long time, like heart palpitations and sort of jumpiness and fidgetiness, and some trauma symptoms. I had nightmares and did do a little bit of therapy, like for PTSD afterwards.
It was like I became very nervous, like if someone was coming up behind me, or I see a certain group of people, I would avoid it because I didn't feel comfortable. I felt violated.
Common Justice is a demonstration project of the Vera Institute, and we're based in Brooklyn, New York, and work with the harmed and responsible parties in a range of cases, but primarily robbery and assaults. If and only if those sides agree to participate, then after extensive preparation with our staff, those harmed and responsible people come together face to face with friends, mentors, or family whom they've invited as support in a facilitated dialogue that aims to reach a set of agreements to hold the responsible party accountable and to make things as right as possible. Common justice serves as an alternative to incarceration for those responsible and as an avenue to healing and recovery for those harmed.
If I did have the chance to sit down with the person I robbed, I probably would. Because I've been robbed before, and I would like to know the information on the person who robbed me and why he robbed me, and where he from and why he had to do it. That's what everybody wants to know when they get robbed.
Why did this person do this? Why did they hurt my family? What is wrong with this person? What's going through their mind? What was they thinking when this happened?
What led up to this, why they were doing it, was it part of a gang initiation thing? What did they feel during it, and what did they feel after?
Most of my robberies were random, so I think if I was sitting face to face with one of my victims, they'd have the same question I would have: why? Why me? What did I do wrong? And I think probably the most uncomfortable part of that for me would be answering, because I'd have to tell them that they didn't do anything wrong. They just happened to be there.
People just want to know, like, they feel like they haven't done that wrong for someone to do something wrong to them. So they just want to know why.
They would ask for apologies. They would ask for the offender to recognize what they had done. At least that. They would want to hear from the offender's own mouth some sense of awareness of what they'd done, and in my experience, that was so powerful.
We want the perpetrator to know the impact that the crime had on us, and it was just not that little moment.
I'd ask them like what they think the impact of what they did was. Like, do they know the impact? Is it possible that they actually feel bad that they had to do that? I mean, I don't know.
After that happened, I felt kind of good, happy, just laughing about it. But then when I started thinking about his situation, it felt wrong, like I did it for nothing because I didn't really need it.
Common justice provides for real accountability on the part of the people responsible for the crimes. The agreements that emerge from the conferences vary case by case based on the unique needs of the people in the room, but the most common sanctions include community service, financial restitution, apologies, commitments to attend educational or rehabilitative programming, or to secure employment.
I don't know, I'll probably try to apologize in every way possible. Because show them I'm really not that person. It was just in that time of being.
If I ran into a victim and they said, you know, that money you took from me cost me X, Y, and Z, and you could repair me by giving me A, B, and C, I'm sure that, short of harming myself or someone else, I would jump through hoops to accommodate them, just to know that I'd put some closure on it.
Well, if they was willing to ask me to do anything like community service, I probably would do community service or payback. I'll pay back anything they want.
I think that's kind of the realest sort of apology. Actually doing something, giving some action that says, I understand what I did and why it doesn't work and why it was harmful, and I won't repeat that with you or someone else.
I think this kind of process gives voice to the victim that is very necessary, that the justice system just doesn't give it.
Having a young victim speak to another, to the perpetrator and vice versa, I think it kind of humanizes the two. I think it gives the victim an opportunity to express how this person's hurt them. And I think it gives the perpetrator an opportunity to kind of see that what he does is hurting a human being.
A program that allows people to make connections or to reconnect in a meaningful way with their humanity through the connections that are being made with the person that they victimized is something that they will, I think, naturally carry with them going forward.
A lot of their needs will be addressed. And so the likelihood of them going back will be also low, opposed to going to jail and not addressing these issues, you know, and going right back to the old neighborhood, doing the same things with the old people. An ATI allows you to explore new ways of doing things and a new way of thinking, and that's what's needed. That's what's needed. Not jail, not a prison cell, not a cage. That's not what's needed. It's counterproductive.
I really believe that just going off to jail is just going to create more violence, and they're going to be hurt in a place like that and come out and want to hurt more people because of the pain they might be feeling because of it.
I don't think prisons are generally turning out safer, healthier people. I think they're generally turning out angry people who now feel more helpless and hopeless than they did in the beginning, and even more disconnected.
I definitely would have loved the opportunity to sit down and have these kind of dialogues and to talk about alternatives to serving jail sentences. And I really think it could change definitely the lives of the victims of these kinds of crimes, but also the lives of the people who perpetrate them, and it's often the same people.
If we're sensitive to what the victim's concerns are, if we're sensitive to what the victim's desired outcome is, then maybe we can get justice that the system is satisfied with, justice that the victim is satisfied with, justice that the defendant, the accused, can accept and feel they deserve. Then you have a situation where everyone comes out feeling like justice has been served, and no one feels like a victim forever.